school, pre-K through 8. So what you're used to seeing in terms of the number of students or people, you're going to see the same thing at Jubilee San Antonio. It's about the same numbers, except we have an additional a middle school and then an elementary on the other side. How many of y'all have been there, whether it's for Saturday school or some type of event in the past, summer school or something like that? So you're just familiar with the building, right? You're in summer school, you don't have to admit that. If you've been to summer school, you don't have to admit that. You keep your hand down. But like I said, we're doing some great things over there. In order to do great things at the high school, we've made some adjustments at the middle school. We're offering, I think like you all here, Project Lead the Way at the middle school, an introduction to STEM, because we're creating a new CTE pathway next year for our kiddos, which will launch as freshmen for some of you all if you show up to JSA, and it'll be a design and engineering course. Ultimately, that's going to lead you to a practicum in STEM, in engineering, some type of certification in engineering. So that's one of the pathways that we offer to our kids who are coming up to our high school. A couple other things that we offer, I don't want to be an engineer, but I'm interested in teaching. We have a human in teaching pathway, which he'll talk a little bit about today. That's what he's working on right now. And through that pathway, by the end of your senior year, you're eligible for a paraprofessional certification. You get that certification, you're immediately hireable right after high school if you're looking for a job while you're looking for and still applying to your colleges, right? Because we're all going to go to college or at least make that attempt. That's our second pathway. We also have animation and graphic design, right? More traditional, more aligned to what you like. So if you like to play video games or design those types of things, the graphic design can do that for you. Mr. Jones is a great teacher. Mr. Garcia, he's our animation teacher. He's brand new to JSA. We started this program just this year, but he's doing some amazing things. I think it's called Stop Animation. Are y'all familiar with that? With the little clay figures? You all watch those cartoons. You're familiar with that, right? So that's what we're currently doing right now. They'll create their storyboards, they'll create these scenes, and then they'll bring them to life. And so basically like a mini production. So that's some of the skills that we're working on there. And those are just like the pathways that we offer if you're looking for some extra, right? But if you're like, hey man, I'm just that kid who's just trying to get to high school and get my credits and go, we can get you there too. We'll get you to your 26 credit plan. Whether you think you can get there or not, we're going to support you through that process. So that way, when you graduate from JSA, you have some type of endorsement or some type of graduation plan that aligns to what you want to do in life. Whether that's college, a career, which we can offer, we can get you to college, or it's the military, which we're doing a better job of bringing in recruiters and all of those different agencies to come in and talk to our kids and really encourage them to apply. So I know that we have some military families here in the audience and probably here in front of us. So that's who we are at JSA, right? Do I have any questions so far about any of the programs that I talked about? Thank you. So that's the academic piece, right? Let's talk about the character program. Of course, as you get into high school, you get more mature, hopefully, and not less mature. You have to be more responsible for yourself. You have to start thinking in an organized or more organized fashion. And so our character program, and through the implementation and guidance from our guidance counselors and your teachers and our SEL counselors, will help you make those good choices that are going to keep you out of trouble in high school, but most certainly make you more successful after high school. That's the most important thing that we try to focus on when it comes to your character development through our DDD, which you're already familiar with. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Your principals will be getting some extra training this summer around culture and the DDD, but that's a whole other thing coming. But just what we offer at JSA when it comes to character development. And then the last thing that I'll talk about before I let each one of them speak is our athletic program. So we are a smaller school. We compete in TEAC style like you guys do too. But the only difference is we always get to the state tournament. We have a great athletic conditioning program from pre-K all the way through the high school. So the way you all do movement prep and all that stuff here too, we do the same exact things all the way through our high school kiddos. And so the best part is in the fall, our football team, our 6-man went all the way to the state semifinals. There were the final 4 teams, right? Final 4 teams in the state of Texas, and we lost that game by just a few points. It was a huge moment for our seniors, and many of our juniors are going to be coming back next year. But that was just an example of a title that we brought back home, a regional championship, almost a state semifinal or state champion. We were just 1 game away from the state tournament, from the state championship. And, I'm confident that we'll get there. And that was only our 2nd year as a team. Year 1, we went 0 in everything. And then year 2, we made the playoffs into state. So imagine year 3, right? It's going to be much, much better. So that's the football component. Our volleyball girls, I think, did fairly well during the school year. Did we make the playoffs?
Yeah, lost
First round, so like, okay, so we got some work to do there, but I'm sure under her leadership, the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors were able to attain the skills and the mindset that they need to be more successful next year. And she'll talk a little bit about that right now. Basketball. Our basketball teams, both middle school girls, and our high school boys did phenomenal this year. Both middle school teams, one of them made it to the playoffs, the other one made it to the state Final Four tournament in Houston. And then our varsity boys, which you'll talk a little bit about, they made it to the Final Four as well. The team that they lost to won the state tournament. Da Vinci Prep out of El Paso or something like that. Bunch of kids on the court, they were communicating in Spanish, trying to work around our team. But the crazy thing is we knew what they were saying. Right? It's amazing. And so we lost to them by 6 points. They ended up winning the whole tournament, the state tournament. They got to see Rice University play, and then they played in Rice's stadium, or a basketball stadium, for the championship, and they ended up winning. So we were 1 game away from that. I'm sorry to bring it up, and those hurt feelings, sir, it still bothers them today. But again, we got there because of the successes of our academic programs, the successes of our character programs, and the successes of Jubilee San Antonio, just generally speaking. We do a lot of great things there. And guys, trust your previous leader when I say that we're doing big things at JSA. I'm here to convince you all that you should be enrolling with Jubilee San Antonio High School next year. I understand many of y'all are looking for the high school experience. I've been working the last 2 years to bring the high school experience. So we've added programs, we've built championship teams, we're developing character. All of that takes time, and it's been enough time to prepare you for the next level. Now, the ball's in your court, and you got to decide, do I want to continue my career at Jubilee San Antonio, or do I want to go public ISD, which is fine. But remember, 3,000 kids, 300 kids. I'm a number, they know my name. Maybe ride the bench, probably win a championship. So those are just some of the reasons why I know you should be at Jubilee San Antonio. So with that being said, I'll let them introduce themselves. They'll talk about who they are, maybe a little bit about academics or what they specialize in, and then, why they chose JSA. Okay? Any questions about any info before they speak? Okay, go ahead. Mr. Deshaun is our first guest.
Hello, I'm Deshaun Lee. I'm currently a junior at Jubilee San Antonio. Been with the district since 2nd grade. It's been a long journey. Had Mr. McDonald as my assistant principal for a little bit. Then he came over here. He's back as my principal and my boss at the same time. I have the honor of being named mayor of JSA by our CEO, which couldn't be here today, but I thank him for that. Thanks, Mr. McDonald, for accepting that too.
Sure.
It's difficult to have 2 people in charge, I'm currently enrolled in the CTE program, Career Technical Education is what it stands for. I am in the teaching and training pathway, where by the end of next year, I will be able to work for Mr. McDonald, or whenever campus wants to hire me, I'll take it. But it's a very interesting thing. We have cool things happening, I help with the sports department. I'm all around,
Talk a little bit about the program.
CTE, so my teacher is Miss Moppin. She's been there for 3 years now. 2 years now. So I'm in the instructional practice. So I get to go to our elementary side. I started my semester off with 4th grade. Now I'm ending my semester off with 2nd grade. So that's where you get in there, you're teaching, grading, I just finished teaching a lesson today about time, analog clock, digital clock, all that. It's a very cool pathway. Like here, you take the test. If you pass it, you can work for Mr. McDonald, this campus, any other campus of Jubilee, or even outside.
State of Texas.
Stay at Texas, but we hope you stay at Jubilee, because, you know, Mr. McDonald's always looking for people. But it's a very good pathway. We have graphic design, animation, which they will talk more about it, but pretty much it.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Gracia. I'm a senior at Jubilee San Antonio. I've been there since 7th grade, and I've had Mr. Montano as my assistant principal as well. I'm currently in the top 10% of my class, for my graduating class. I'm part of dual credit, which is a program where you earn college credit.
Hey, tell us more. What do you mean top 10?
So last year and junior year, I was ranked #1 out of my entire class. So top 10% is they get your GPA and all the classes you taken together, and then they do ranking at the end of the year.
And so right now, we're not sure,
We're
but,
not sure, they're announcing it Friday.
okay. We have a big announcement on Friday between, obviously, these two individuals right next to each other, but they're basically #1 and #2 in our whole school. And they've been like that since they've been with you. But go ahead.
I'm also part of Finance Club, which is, I'm president of Finance Club, and then I'm also president of our class government. We do it by classes, so we originally started sophomore year, but technically I feel like you could start even at freshman year.
Finance club?
Not for Finance Club, but like as the class club or class.
Absolutely. We have 15 different clubs and organizations that I'll share with you right now once they're all done speaking. What we offer for you is anywhere between a freshman or all the way to a senior.
And then I'm also part of GT, which gives me lots of different opportunities. Like right now, they're trying to teach projects and meeting to the elementary side. So I go maybe once a week and I go read books to them.
Thank you.
My name is Austin Alejos. I'm also a senior at Jubilee. I share many of the same things as her. I'm in dual credits. I am also part of the Finance Club. Other than being the president of the class of 2022, I am the treasurer. I'm also in GT, but I'm also, something that is different is that I am in the graphic design program. So once I finish this year, I should be certified as a graphic designer so I can do my own stuff.
Which is the certification in Adobe Suites, correct?
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think so. Dual credit is a really unique opportunity. It allows me to get college credits beforehand. Once I finish this year, I will be almost done with 1 year in college. But it also lets you experience what you want to try and learn, because some classes that you can take are like psychology or music. But psychology, that one's really interesting. I think that's something I might pursue once I go to college or Texas A&M.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, we need more psychologists in our world. You know, there's a lot of mental health that are creeping up on us here and there. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Mr. Alejos? Last year, actually it was for this year, but he won a contest last year. He was the top graphics designer for Jubilee Academies. And the image that he created was a symbol of our BB, as well as our mascot. And so we took Mr. Alejos' graphic design and we mass produced it, and we put it in all of our teacher binders and all of our leadership binders. So that way we can show him and the graphic designing department and our team that we really do value their work. And so our teachers, every Thursday when we get together in our think tank weekly data meetings, they are coming in, they're bringing their binders in, and we see Austin's work. It's the first image we see on every binder. So just a reminder of, you know, the efforts y'all put in, we absolutely recognize. And I'd rather showcase your work over anybody else's, whether it's pre-printed or not. If we have talent in-house, we're gonna use it. And that's why we brought them here again today to talk to you all. Thank you, Austin, appreciate it. Dave?
My name is Peyton Herrera. I'm a senior at Jubilee High School. This is my 3rd year here. I came from Roosevelt High School. I don't know if y'all know what that said. At Roosevelt High School, I was doing terrible. My grades were all C's, D's, wasn't really good. I was skipping class, not really going to school. I played basketball, but I was just one of the kids on the bench that just was there just to be there. But I say my first year at Jubilee, about like a month, 2 months in, I improved dramatically. I got all A's, straight A's. Basketball was amazing. I was able to start my senior year at varsity. I've been started my whole career, high school career. I'm getting looked at by a whole bunch of college coaches now because of the opportunities that the athletic director at Jubilee gave me. So I have a chance to go to college. My grades are good now. I got A's and B's, but they're not great. But I get to go to college because of my athletics and the opportunities that these coaches gave me.
He's a little nervous. He's a little nervous.
Real quick on that, you mentioned that you were at Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So when you say your grades weren't good, can you explain what you mean by that? Like if your GPA, how your grades over there now, how did you find?
Like at Roosevelt, I was just a student. I wasn't nobody to them. I was just somebody there to give work to and just they didn't help me at all. I barely knew the teachers at Roosevelt High School. So I've been there, I was there like 5 months, didn't know nobody. I barely talked, but as soon as I got to Jubilee, everybody knew my name. I knew every teacher's name. I knew personal issues about the teachers that I wouldn't know because they talked to me every day and they helped me get my grades up. And so at Roosevelt, my GPA was probably like a 2 point something, but now about to graduate is at 3.3, which improved
Amazing.
dramatically.
Good for you. Good for you.
Great job.
And tell me, so you're going to class every day. What's the major difference? Why aren't you skipping school anymore?
I like being in class. It's actually fun for me.
Nice. And so when you were at Roosevelt, why were you skipping class?
Feel like I didn't belong there. There was no reason for me to go to class.
Yeah. And so we hope that we don't create that feeling in our kids. That's the most important thing, right? That's the difficult thing about high school, even middle school sometimes. I'm sure you get those feelings, right? I don't want to go to class today. Or, man, I didn't study for that test. I'm not ready for Mr. Release or Ms. Rodriguez and what they have, planned for us. So there's a shortcut, right? Skip class, fake something, an injury, how you feel. Or find the right school, find the right support, and want to go to class because you're willing and able. That's the most important thing. So I appreciate that, Mr. Wright, for that little take there. Thank you. Ms. Suarez?
Hi, my name is Desiree Suarez. I'm currently a senior at Jubilee SA. I am a student athlete. I played soccer, basketball, volleyball, and softball. I was captain for about 6 years in a row now. The athletics there, I would say if y'all would like to play and if you're interested, it's really good because the coaches, they really help you and they're willing to improve your skills. So good, please. They're willing to improve your skills, and if you ever need help, you can go. And they're willing to stay after practices if you need extra help. I am vice president of our senior class, and I am top 10%.
What rank? Don't be shy.
No, I'm not gonna say you.
What are you?
I'm number 5 in our class right now.
She's number 5 out of 61 kids. That's amazing. That's hard work. That's dedication. And to think that she's a student athlete and she's number 5, that's amazing. So go ahead.
I've actually been in this district since I was in 2nd grade. And the person that actually put me into school was my grandma because it was like a family tradition. And I felt like if you want to be looked at, Jubilee for athletics and academics, Jubilee is like a really good school to go to instead of like a big public one where you're always going to be in trouble, there's fights and everything. And it was obviously a bigger school with different practices. Yeah. And yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ms. Watts. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Leo. Go right ahead.
My name is Leo. I'm currently a senior at Jubilee Center as well. This is supposed to be my second year, going there. I went to McCullum High School, it was a public high school. When I got to McCullum High School, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was like Kaden as well. I fell off in school. Grades went down, absences went up. Sports was out of there because if you're not passing, you cannot play ever in any school. So yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Told my parents it was time for a move. We moved to Jubilee, and all my grades went up dramatically. Also, I started getting looked at as well. The coaches, they took their time to make me better and my team better as well. That's why we went so far in every sport that I was in. I picked Jubilee because public high schools, like they said, they don't really care. Like they care about y'all, but you're just another student to them. Like at Jubilee, like they know you by your name. They ask you how's your day. They know like all your business. There's no bad stuff. You're cool with everybody. 8th graders could be cool with 12th graders. 12th graders are good with 2nd graders. Like you're cool with everybody there. There's no bad vibes. The teachers, they really do care about y'all. If y'all need help, they will help y'all. Mr. Montano is a very good principal. He's always there for y'all. If you need to talk to him, just talk to him, have a frank conversation. He's always willing to open up for y'all.
And that's not that we done that this year.
Probably like twice a week.
For a couple times.
Yeah, right. I go in there a lot.
How often do you see me?
You see him every period. He's in always, making sure, y'all are staying out of trouble, make sure y'all get into your classes. Yeah, it's a good school. The staff there is very nice. Once again, you're friends with everybody, so it's a good, like little circle to be in. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so, everything they described is true. From their accomplishments, also to their backgrounds, their histories. Austin is, I believe he's gonna be our first student who graduated pre-K through 12. So he spent his entire career in education at Jubilee.
Except for like that first half of the semester of the freshman year, when I transferred to Arlingale and then back because I didn't like it.
Didn't realize, like, man, I made a mistake. Brought it back, now he's number 1 or number 2, probably lined up money all over the place for school. And definitely, if he doesn't know what he wants, he's gonna go look for what he wants. I think that's the attitude that he's built through his experiences with Jubilee. So some of the things that we offer here at the high school level, even at the secondary, some of the elementaries as well. Robotics, we have a robotics club. They just competed this year in the SA Best tournament. We got 11th out of 36, over 36 teams that competed. And this is, I'm talking like 6A and 5A schools, O'Connor and Northside and Northeast, all these big wigs with all this money and all these people went to compete. We send a team of 4 or 5 and we smoke everyone. We get 11th out of 36, and so that put us on the map there. So that's our robotics team. We have our athletics club, our graphic designing team, our recycling club. Every third day they collect recycled goods. If the teachers are not doing their part, they'll email the teachers and tell them, I'm sorry, we're not collecting your recyclable goods today because you violated the blah, 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 blah. And so they're really good about doing that. That's building leadership. And we offer that to our high school and some of our middle schools as well. And we have a finance club, like somebody mentioned earlier. The finance club is basically, you're being taught how to manage your money and actually how to make money in non-traditional ways. So rather than relying on a 9-to-5 job, using the stock market to learn how to invest your money and create value, we have a club that teaches you that. And it's led by our CEO of Jubilee, Mr. Coger, and then a couple of traders on campus. Well, they trade in real life, but their sponsors here, Mr. Silva, he manages that. And so this is a $100,000 program in terms of the advice that they give you for free. And so what they do is Mr. Coger and Mr. Silva have mock money that they're gonna allow you to make real life trades with. So that way you can learn how the stock market works and what it means and what it doesn't mean. And so there's just so much amazing things. How many of y'all are familiar with cryptocurrencies and GME and AMC, the GameStop and the AMC movement and all that stuff? We talk about that in our finance club, right? They'll teach you how to invest in the smart way, so that way you can actually make money on your returns instead of lose money. So that's just an example from that finance club. We have the Jubilee Ambassadors Club. And I'm proud to say that the Jubilee Club was established here at your school. Named by a pre-K student, Gianna Amaton. She's the one who chose the name for us 4 years ago or whatever. And so at JSA, it was my mission to bring that club to JSA. And we have Mr. Deshaun and a couple other honorary students who, including them, who are our honorary Jubileers or ambassadors. They represent our school. So they have to do more than just smile and wave at people. They got to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner every single day, which is why I'm always in the hallways to correct kids. We have a barbecue university, in case you don't know how to make food, barbecue, smoke a turkey, smoke some ribs. We'll teach you how to do that. It's fun. We have our first one March 26th. If you're interested, come stop by our school from 8 to 12. We'll feed you for free if you just want to check it out. We have dual credit clubs, student council, we have an art club, we have music club, animation club, teaching and education club, GT club, yearbook club, and then our Texas Association of Future Educators. So that's just the surface, guys. We have more too. And then we probably have clubs that I didn't even talk about that we're gonna probably create moving forward in the fall. So I've said a lot. I know y'all have said pretty much enough. Now let's open up the floor. What questions do you guys have? Walter, any questions for myself or for the kids? Parents? Let's start with the students. We have a question up here. How many clubs can you be in at once? Would y'all like to answer that? Did I give an answer? Sure.
Basically, from my experience, you can be in as many as you want. There was a time when I was in like 5 clubs 1 year. All at once. It also depends like what days they need and stuff like that. But even if you can't make the meeting for one club, the sponsors and teachers who are in charge of it are really good about that. So like if you were late or you can't make it, they'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, so it also depends on what your schedule looks like, right? How invested are you in your academic programs at school? Do you have time for extracurricular? And if you do, can you manage your time? That's what it comes down to too. So you're gonna work on that soft skill. That soft skill is like things you need to really know how to do to be successful in life, like communicate well, collaborate well, manage your time, things like that, plan. Those are soft skills you need to learn to be successful in life. Great question. Any other questions? We're here for a while, guys. Don't be shy. I know you have them burning. I mean, you look like you got a question or two. Oh, yeah.
TSI testing. Did any of y'all do TSI testing? Can you talk to them? Because they're going to take that this week. Can you tell them a little bit about TSI testing? What's your experience?
I took TSI testing my freshman year of high school because that's when they first offered it. My experience was pretty good. The counselors met up with me, checked on me to see how I was doing. If there were any parts that I was worried about, they would talk to the teachers to help me out. By the day of the test, I was really comfortable with it. And now I think at the school they have like TSI, but they have like a
Test prep.
Like one of your classes is prep for TSI.
So we're changing that next year. We're not gonna offer the TSI prep schedule embedded in our course sequence anymore because we've now learned how to work with TSI and develop test prep groups during the school year using personnel and staff. So we're not gonna take up an opportunity for you to take another elective or a better class or some type of class to help you. But we absolutely provide the test prep and support for the TSI. I think the best advice I can give you, at least for the RLA component, is make sure you write your entire narrative that they're asking you to write from beginning to end. So keep in mind that it's a computer program that grades your work. So it's not someone sitting down reading your essay. It's programmed to review your essay. So, be mindful of that. There's ways you can beat the system by working hard, using the skills we give you, fill in the page, write an entire narrative or an essay. That's the advice that I can give you that I hear from students and from my counselors that tell me all the time, had they just written a little bit more, they would have passed their TSI exam.
And the good thing about it is they're actually in 8th grade, so they have an extra year to take it.
You got 4 years, guys. But here's the best part about Jubilee San Antonio. You're not gonna have to rely on your TSI anymore after this year. This year, we're gonna build college prep into our master schedule. So that way 100% of our seniors will will be taking this college prep course. So if for some reason, by the time you get to your senior year and you haven't met your TSI indicator or passed one of your SAT or ACT exams, there's a bunch of different things you need to pass when you're older. We'll put you in a course that'll give you the same credit that you need to be college and career ready through this class. We're making that adjustment to the master schedule. That's something that we started last year and that we continue to evolve, is our schedules in the best interest of you guys and what we want you to do in life, which is be successful. So TSI prep is there, and we have prep for everything else too. Questions? Any? Yes. You have to be in good academic standings in order to continue working with the club. In the previous, we used to have a 75. We used to hold our student athletes to a 75%. So a lot of parents didn't like that, students didn't like that, but it made the students work harder. We made an adjustment to our plan this year, so any student with a 70 or better is eligible to play, like in a traditional school setting. But to answer your question, you have to be in good academic standings in order to continue being in the program. Just like in GT, right? If you're in GT, who's in GT? Raise your hand. You're in GT? 2, 3. So if you're in GT and your grades start to fail, your GT teacher and your principal and some other people will probably get together, including your parents, and they can do what's called a furlough, where you get removed from the program because you're not able to maintain. Same thing happens in these things, except it's not as formal, right? You're not doing well, we're gonna ask you to hold on, you're not gonna be allowed to come back to your club until your grades are back up. In the meantime, you need to get the support or training you need from someone else, like your tutor or your teacher rep or something like that. Yes, this is different here. I did not expect that voice coming out of here because I heard you're older now, sir. Wow, right? Is the food different from here? To answer your question, it is not. I think the only thing that is different is we have an a la carte line where we offer additional items. So yes, we offer a little bit extra, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same food. The Frito pie y'all got last week, we got the Frito pie too. Remember that? Y'all like, hey, we can get this. Y'all did get that. So. What up? Question, and then Ms. Rodriguez. So right now, we're only offering Spanish, Spanish 1, 2, and 3. We just kind of went over our course sequences yesterday. That's the only language that we're offering as of right now. In terms of partnerships with college, Palo Alto, Texas A&M San Antonio. I worked with Trinity University last year, guys. I got this great opportunity to be in a fellowship. They selected me. I had to go through a process and I got selected. And Dr. Nahosa, another principal, but they let me work with them to redesign our school. So we brought a focus on STEM to JSA. Robotics in the elementary, STEM in the middle school, and then computer and technology in the high school. So we have those types of partnerships. I'm hoping to include Trinity in that partnership moving forward, as well as UTSA. I'm a former road runner for both my bachelor's and my master's. I'm a season ticket holder since day one. So absolutely, I want to see you guys go to UTSA or at least take courses there. But Ms. Mora, we're going to do better than that. So you don't have to go off campus anymore to get college credit. We're bringing on-ramps to JSA next year. And so what we're going to do is we're going to certify teachers in specific content areas that are going to give you college credit where you're going to earn it. But they're going to teach you algebra or whatever, chemistry, and you're going to get high school and college credit for it. So that's just another way you're going to meet the CCMR indicator. Just some things that are going to happen and that we already have lined up here. Either next year coming, if we don't get on-ramps next year, for sure it's coming the following. But I think I've made enough noise to convince some principals that on-ramps is the right direction we need to head in. So I'm very hopeful that that's going to help us continue the partnership. And the partnership, Ms. Mora, is with UT Austin. So our teacher partners with a professor from the University of Texas at Austin. So when you graduate or you get, let's just say your sophomore year, you take a 1301, some type of rhetoric course or something, right? You pass the class. On your transcript, when you apply to colleges, it's going to say that you got credit from the University of Texas. Like, that's amazing. My credit transcript said South Texas Community College. And it said, like, South Lopes, like, all these little tiny schools. I still got into a decent school. But had the counselors and advisors who reviewed my transcript saw UT on there, that would have been a game changer over the next kid, right? Because remember, I think it's upwards of 70,000 people apply to the University of Texas every year just to get in. And they only let in, I think, 10,000 or something, or less than that. So it's very hard to get in, but when you already have credits established, looks good. But that's how we're doing that with the colleges and the universities. And then they come to us too, whether it's like college night. We just had who was there? At the Capital Olympics last weekend? That university, I forget who, they were there. Somebody, they were there, but they were there, okay, anyway. Ms. Rodriguez.
What advice do you have for incoming freshmen?
Oh, that's y'all. How about seniors leaving and then maybe you can give them some advice, given that you're still there?
What is something that you wish they would have told you?
Yeah, like, man, so, get the class on time or what? Like, what is it?
Throwing yourself in the last minute.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Throwing yourself in the last-
So don't procrastinate.
Yeah, that's one of the major things I had trouble with freshman year was I would always put stuff off. But I can do it later, it's one assignment I finish later, sooner or later, that adds up to like the 50 assignments you can do.
Until Snowmageddon hits,
Huh?
right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go play in the snow, and then you forget, and then you never did that, and then you fall behind. Right, so don't procrastinate, staying on time. How do you do that? Get a planner. Tell Miss Walter, hey, Miss Walter, before we leave Jubilee Highland Park, it'd be beautiful if you bought us a nice high school planner. So I can organize my thoughts this summer, and then get ready to launch into JSA next year. What's some more advice we can offer to 8th grade? Because whether you choose JSA or not, you're gonna need the advice. You're gonna be a small fish in a big pond. If you go ISDs, you're gonna be a small fish in a small pond if you bring it to JSA, but regardless, you're still gonna be that new fish, right? So what advice do we have, guys?
My advice is do it. If you're thinking about doing something, do it. If you want to play a sport, do it.
As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, you can do it. That's great advice. Yes.
I guess if you want to, like, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know how to word it. I guess to like, if you have friends or something and you want to stay in contact with them, get them before you go to high school, because when I transferred out in my freshman year, I transferred to Harlandale, I didn't know anyone, and while all the classes and teachers were nice, none of us were able to sync well with each other. Jim was lame. Their movement professor, they had us do like jumping over a line for 5 minutes, and that was it. And then they let us do whatever we wanted. But it was fun at Jubilee. I could beat people with hockey sticks.
No, so essentially what he's saying is, look, if you don't go prepared to high school with the mindset that I'm gonna make friends, then that can be a difficult thing to do.
It's just lonely.
It can be that way, right? Yeah, it sounds funny, right? But when you got 2,000, when you got 3,000 kids, you have 1,000 freshmen, it's like, you're almost in a shell shock. So stay close to the friends that you have now and go into the mindset knowing, hey, I need to be an active communicator and collaborator with my friends in order to keep those friendships and maintain those relationships at the high school level. Question? It's the same thing, athletic conditioning. The only thing that I'll add, Ms. Walter, is that the coaches have been at JSA since they've opened, half of them, I think. So Ms. Salazar, Coach Bowen, Coach Sharp, Coach Saudi, they've been there since the day one that we've opened our doors, and they're still there. So there's a lot of consistency with our program. They know coaches in the community, like they said, they know people that can help you get better, faster. They work out at 5 in the morning. Do y'all still do that for basketball right now? They're still doing that. And the season is long gone. And they're still getting up at 5 and they're training in the morning in our gym before teachers even wake up. I can get up till 6:30. No shame. But they're up at 5, breaking a sweat, ready to eat breakfast, starving by 7 a.m. because they're that dedicated. And we have the coaching staff to match that dedication. So that's JSA's athletic program. It's a really good one. You're almost guaranteed a championship if you do your part. Why we fall short when it comes to winning is because our kids fall short. So if you don't make the grade, you're not gonna play. I don't care if you're the stud or not. You're off the team until you get your grades up. It doesn't matter. We've done it plenty of times where we've lost the big games 2 years ago, 4 years ago when I was there. Well, it was 5 years ago. We benched the number 1 player on our basketball team as an 8th grader, dunking on everyone, benched him, and we lost the championship. But that was okay with me, because that was my kid, and he wasn't doing the work in the classroom. So that's the expectations that we'll hold you to. But if you do your part, we're gonna do well. Go ahead.
My buddy here wants to know
Asking for a friend, okay?
what the barbecue is.
Any question? March. Gavin, March 26th. March 26th. 8 to 12. I know who you all guys, come on now. But March 26th, come on down and we're gonna smoke a brisket, smoke a turkey, have some sausages and stuff like that. We don't offer a culinary class, but we have a barbecue club. Yep. In this barbecue club, we'll teach you how to grill. So that way, next time it snows and your electricity don't work, you know how to turn on a grill and still make some food. Yeah.
And on that note, guys, if there is anybody that is interested in doing the barbecue co-op, then you need to, the barbecue university, let me know, because we are going to have some people attend to represent JHP.
Yeah.
On that particular day.
Come on over.
See ahead of time what you're gonna get into, hopefully it'll go. All right?
Yeah, super awesome. So, any last questions? Anything that's burning that your heart desires to ask? Uniforms stays the same. Hoodies not allowed unless it's got a zipper.
What?
It's gotta have a zipper. This right here, 100% legal. This right here, legal, but I don't like the team. This is fine. So, but no, absolutely, same rules. I might say, hey, get it right and give you that opportunity. But like I told them on the way over here, hey guys, guess what? The AirPods, tomorrow I'm confiscating them all. So if I see them, you lose it. But I give you the heads up because I want you to make an educated decision, right? So if the policy doesn't change from one campus to the next, why would you change your behavior? That doesn't make sense to me. That's one thing we need to work on better when it comes to transitioning kids from one school to the next is policy stays the same. So the expectation is the same, bottom line. So if you can live with that, you'll be all right, you'll survive.
So, how's those floors like?
How the floors? It's a one-story concrete building, so brick walls, concrete floors, hardwood gym. We have 40 yards of turf, 40 yards of hardwood in our gym, so it's a big multi-purpose space. You know, each classroom fits 25 kids. At the middle school and high school, about 25. Some are a little bit more than that, some are less. Right now, the start time for high school is 8:20. 8:20.
8:20 to what, sir?
8:20 to 4:34. That's the current time. Excuse me? 34. Because of the bell schedule. Passing periods are anywhere from, on average, 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. There is one that's a 5-minute passing period, but each class is 55 minutes. So when you put all that together, and because we have an elementary, a middle, and a high school, and we only have one facility for gym and for lunch, we have to have staggered start and end times. Yeah, but we're making that great question because we hope to make our master schedule start and STEM times align with other schools in our district. So it's getting better every year, and it has and will continue to.
Well, thank you, Mr. McConnell.
Yeah.
Thank you, boys and girls, for coming. I greatly appreciate y'all coming. I mean, we know what we're looking forward to. So that is the importance. That's why I know they visited JSA, so now they've got a chance to speak with you.
Yep.
If there's any more burning questions that you may have, then they will give to your teachers, and I will pass them on to Mr. McConnell.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Hey, we hope to see you again, March 26th. Maybe they can join us for the Barbecue University. It's the Math Olympics. If you want to participate, you can. Just let us know. I'll put you on a team. Y'all already know all the obstacles. It's the same ones we used to do. Ain't no difference. So actually, you can help your team. But at the end of the day, thank you for being here. And thank you for inviting us, Ms. Walter and families. We appreciate y'all. And I hope to see maybe